All right, thank you so much for staying with Citizen TV. We're talking about youth and politics, giving a view of what they think in terms of everything that's happening around. Billian Ojiwa is still with us, community activist. Nice Mudhoni Mburu, a lawyer and aspiring leader, is also joining us live from Mombasa. Ahmed Kadar, a blogger, is here with us, and Hadija Abukula, UDA Youth League. We say that again. She's part of the UDA Youth League. She's with us here in studio as well. So listen, let's look into the future. Tomorrow, there's a meeting in Sagana, but as we speak, 41 legislators from 11 counties of the larger Mount Kenya region have accused President Uhuru Kenyatta of mismanaging his own administration, especially in the second term, leading to dysfunctional government whose political direction appears to be very divisive and also unclear. So the MP's accusations come in the form of an 11-page letter to the president in which they complain that they have not been invited to the Sagana meeting this weekend, attributing the reason of not being invited to exclusion. Sam Gituku has more on this. Then we discuss what the president's priority should be in Mount Kenya. Watch.
In the 11-point letter, 41 senators and members of National Assembly claim they have been left out of invitations to the Saturday Sagana meeting called by President Kenyatta and expected to focus on political concerns in the mountain. They begin their complaints with the ravages of the economy attributed to Kenyatta's policies, saying, quote, in Nyamakima, Gekomba, Kamukunji, and on Taveta, Kirinyaga, and River Roads, businesses have closed as besieged traders relocate to the rural areas to dress their wounds. Merchandise was branded counterfeit and destroyed. The leaders telling the president, if you take time to read the daily news, it will come to your notice 10 to 14 pages of the newspapers are taken up by advertisement by auctioneers, auctioning assets of entrepreneurs whose pending bills have remained unpaid by your administration for years. Over the past few years, President Kenyatta has directed government officials to clear pending bills owed to business persons. The 41 legislators concerned saying, our worry is that your cabinet does not heed your directives, or worse, that all along you were engaging in public relations with no intention to keep your word. They say in the 17 months remaining in office, the people pray that you devote your time and effort to high-impact programs to spark a rapid revival of the economy, similar to President Kibaki's era.
Wakati Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na Rais wa Wananchi waliposalimiana hadharani.
During his second term, President Kenyatta reached out to his political nemesis Raila Odinga in a move that appeared to cause a rift with his deputy William Ruto. The letter adding, the new political turn in the conduct and practice of politics has left us disappointed and outraged. Our people are honorable people whose lives and livelihoods are based on honesty and trust. The MP is accusing the president, further accusing him of being abusive, saying the total erosion of civility at the highest level of leadership is a source of tremendous disenchantment throughout the Mount Kenya region. In some occasions, President Kenyatta has claimed that he won the presidency out of his own effort and that some of the elected legislators rode on his popularity. The MP is reminding the president that they campaigned for him in the fresh presidential election where they were not candidates. They say, quote, you have never visited any part of the Mount Kenya region to say thank you to the people for standing with you. Your tours are increasingly ill-tempered, abusive encounters where the leaders and the people are left humiliated. During the Saturday meeting with 4,000 delegates comprising elected leaders, religious leaders, and other opinion leaders, the president is expected to explain to the region benefits of the BBI process. But the MPs tell the president, you blame the leaders, people of the Mount Kenya, for being reluctant to accept the handshake and BBI. The successful effort you made to persuade the people and render Raila Odinga unacceptable in Mount Kenya cannot be undone in your lifetime. The president has also mocked those who perceive him as a lame duck president.
Anaangalia wengine anasema huyu anaenda. Atafanya nini? Niwakumbushe hata kama anaenda bado wako na siku kadhaa ya kuguruma kama simba.
The MPs say, we hope that you will set your powerful claws to catch the COVID-19, NYS and Waraka land scandal billionaires. Please roll without ceasing and bring to book those responsible for the scandals of medical equipment services and mobile clinics in the Ministry of Health. End of quote. Of the 41 legislators, 8 are from Meru County, 5 Nakuru County, 2 Nyandarua, 3 from Murang'a including Senator Irungu Kang'ata, 2 from Nyeri, 3 Nairobi MPs, 5 from Embu, 4 each from Tharaka Nithi and Kiambu counties, while Kirinyaga and Laikipia got 3 and 2 signatures respectively. Sam Gituko, Citizen TV.
All right, let's start this discussion, and now we can mix it with BBI. Has it been so convoluted, Billion, that nobody now even understands what the document has? It becomes now a fight between so and so and so and so, because now the leaders are going to meet in Mount Kenya region, Sagana to be specific. That's happening tomorrow. What should the president's priorities be? Should he be trying to explain why this document is good, or should he be trying to explain that I am not trying to push Raila, which all of them have already said they're not doing?
It's interesting, and you know, the letters just come at the right time for them, provoking the president, you know, and we understand our president, you know, when he's provoked, he's going to divert from, you know, addressing the issues that are taking him to Sagana, and now starting addressing the points that have been narrated on that letter. So it is so intentional, and it's so unfortunate, and I hope that the president will just avoid the letter and talk about the agendas and the ideas that were taking him to Sagana. And I feel, you know, the people that are leading that camp mostly are young people. If you look at the Ndindi Nyoro, you look at Ichungwa, most of them are young people. And they keep pushing the boundaries. They keep seeing how far can they go, what can the president do. And I feel bad for President Uhuru, because for the longest time, you know, he knew that he had contained the people, his people. But the rebellion group kept growing, and now it is at a point where we are, I think, less than 2 years to the next general election, and this camp feel they have nothing much to lose, so they can keep pushing the boundaries. So hopefully the president will not be diverted by the letter, and will address the issues and tell the people of central Kenya what is contained in the document for them, because I think that is what they want to hear. Most of them have been complaining. Yeah. It's about Raila Odinga, it's about, you know, the dynasties, it's about creating the positions. Yet, if you look at the document, there are some elements of the document that really addresses the issues, the economic issues in central Kenya, to be specific. So that would be interesting. Let's see how it happens. But if we see the president adjusting his microphone,
we know it's about to go down. Kadar?
And first of all, you know, the BBI document, there is good side, there is bad side. That's been discussed, so we cannot exist on that. Now, on the issue of tomorrow, Mount Kenya, you see, there are 41 or I don't know 47 MPs who have written a letter. 41 MPs to the president. These members of parliament serve constituencies. They have you know, a wider network with the people on the ground, and they can feel the feelings of the people and the aspirations. That doesn't mean the president is not aware. He knows everything. Much as the president will want to go to Sagana and discuss, you know, these issues with the Mount Kenya people, I will want to plead with him that he should, you know, take this further and explain everything to Kenyans, you know, and others, because as Kabando rightfully said on this same studio on Thursday night, that, you know, the president being a fatherly figure, being a symbol of unity, he should not be, you know, these politicians, he shouldn't allow to be reduced to be, you know, a political, talking to one side. When you become the president, you are president for everyone. Having said that, he comes from a region that he needs to address, which is perfectly fine. But you see, Mount Kenya is not like any other region politically. You know, we have seen, you know, when Baba says yes, you know, left, everyone turns left in some places. But here, you know, people go about their daily life. They want things that, you know, that address them directly, not necessarily going with the hype or hype. So I think the president will calm the political tensions in Mount Kenya. But for me, what I disagree with is, you know, there are MPs from Mount Kenya who media reports have that they weren't invited. You know, you see, again, we're talking of BBI inclusivity. So why not bring everyone on board, even those who disagree, and convince them, so that we all move in the same direction. Okay. Secondly, the issue of BBI in general terms, for me, BBI right now, and most people have said this, is not, I don't think it's the appropriate time to discuss constitutional changes and all that, bearing in mind what we have right now.
So for you, it's the timing, not the content?
No, the content is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We're heading to an election, you know, which is 1 year to about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you have watched, you know, from a political analyst perspective, since 2005, there's always been a referendum before an election. Is it a business? You know, people sometimes wonder and ask that question themselves. Why do we always have a referendum before an election? 2005, we had one before 2007. 2010, we had one before the 2013 election. Now we are having one before the 2022 election. What is this pattern with referendums that always come a year or two to an election without necessarily linking it to the current administration? It's just a general question.
Okay.
Is it necessary to have BBI?
Okay.
We don't, look here, kids are learning under 3.
Yeah.
You must have reported that, and we watched it, you know, all over the country in some places. We are talking about the cost of living.
Yeah.
The other day I was seeing in the papers and the cost of bread going up, and those are basic foods that the common man eats. What are we doing about that? Sometimes you see taxation left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Now they even want to tax bloggers and
you guys and your team.
and influencers and all that kind of digital
Yeah.
people. There's no problem paying your due to the government so that things run well. But I think is the taxes that everyone pays going to the right place? That's the question we need to be discussing. Not for me, BBI. The content may be good, but I think the timing is not proper.
Okay. Adija, what should the president prioritize in Mount Kenya? And should we even be talking about BBI?
I think one, BBI should not be a priority, in my opinion, because we have so many issues to deal with other than BBI. That money that's supposed to be used in BBI can be used to pay for these pending bills that you are seeing. The counties are owing the government billions of money, and that's why you are seeing even in that letter, they are saying people are being auctioned because they have not settled their bills. I mean, I think that is what the president should prioritize in terms of paying people so that they can be able to do the other stuff. Two, for me, if BBI is for building bridges, I do not understand why you sideline some people. You do not invite them to be part and parcel of the conversation. If really you're true to yourself and Kenyans, I think it should be inclusivity of all the parties and the members who are supposed to be in that meeting. You're not supposed to say that these members of parliament are not supposed to be part of it, and you just sideline them because maybe they are related to the deputy president's side. You know, you don't need to sideline them. If it's building bridges, bring them on board. Let them also bring their opinions on board. You need to have a conversation with all of them.
You do know, though, that none of them has been stopped from going to the Mount Kenya meeting, right? They just claim they've not been invited, but the invitation is always public.
For them to claim that they have not been invited, I mean, probably they might not have been invited. I don't understand. If I am invited for a function, I will come and say I'm not invited. So yes, we will wait to see maybe if it's publicly like they were invited, but they didn't want to go, or were they not invited?
Yeah.
So I think that is the thing. For me, I think peace is everything, and the president should first try to bring harmony and peace within Mount Kenya before even go to the other part of the country to sell the BBI.
Okay.
And the BBI in this term, I think it's about two people show, because if it's not about two people show, then I think there's a deputy president in this country. I mean, the president should also include the deputy president to be part and parcel of it.
Okay. Mudhoni, what should the president be prioritizing in this meeting that's happening in Sagana tomorrow?
I personally feel that our people are so happy with the fact that it's like the return of their king. And I have been listening, my ground has been in the, my ear has been on the ground rather, and people are just yearning to see their son coming back and addressing them. And people are saying it would only take the president one round of going all over Mount Kenya, and people would feel that that their son is back. Because we've been seeing number two really going round and doing all those things consistently. He has been taking camp in Moranga for a while, and he has been there, and we've been able to see him going round. But the people have been yearning, and I feel that this Sagana meeting is going to be a great meeting because people are going to get, our leaders are going to get to have a chance, even the local leaders, a chance to sit with the king, to sit with their president, and get to listen from him and hear from him what he has to tell the people. And it's also worth noting that the agendas basically for tomorrow's meeting in Sagana, the first agenda is basically Maendeleo and the project, whereby I feel like the president will be able to address what are the things that the government, his government, has been able to do that this other side has not been telling or shedding light on the same. The other issue that the president will try and articulate in is to inform the people and sell the BBI and tell the people of Mount Kenya, what does this document have for you? What are we going to rip off of the BBI? And also, I would like to state that indeed these people, the 41 members, the 41 persons who are claiming that maybe they have not even been invited for those meetings, and people who want to bring a difference. It is not true that they've not been invited. We all know of what happened in Bomas. There was an extension of the invitation for those members to attend the Bomas when the BBI document was being launched. Yet they failed to show. Actually, we even witnessed some members of Parliament and Senate walking out of such a historic moment. So it is such a shame. And I don't know what formula or mannerism they would want to be invited for such meetings. But if you are invited, your only responsibility would be to be part and take part in the same. So all these things that we are seeing, all those complaints and sideshows, I think it's just to be heard. Yeah, we say good things whisper, but bad things shout. Bad things, they really make a lot of noise, and people really like dwelling on negativity instead of shedding light and looking into things that are actually positive. Trevor.
All right. Let me bring in some views here on Twitter. Let's see, bring them up. There's a lot of feedback coming through. Let's read some of them and see what you're saying before I get a quick reaction from my guests here. Now, we have Aisha Sue says it's very true in life, we can never be the same. The bottom line is the youth shouldn't be misled. They should be careful.
At least
all right.
dealing with us.
Duchess Lakenya says ICT hubs are meant for people who know their way around the internet, people with the device that can access the internet. What will I go to do at an ICT hub with a kabambe? Mudoni should come back to earth, Akomas.
Yes.
Millennial Youth League, they say it's not really about the wheelbarrows per se. It's a sign that we are tired of promises. We are taking a stand as young people in Kenya. It's time for change, and this is how it begins, the wheelbarrow movement. Sheikh Khalid says a youth group started a cabbage collection business. To advance their project, they invited DP Route and indicated what they need for their project, mkokoteni and wheelbarrows being some of them. Ruto responded to the request. Okay. Rono Winches says it's quite unfortunate that the youths are still being used to cause havoc and lawlessness in our community by individuals purporting to be leaders, and those on another divide are celebrating. The reason is because they have been excluded in matters governance. Dennis Oda says the hustler versus dynasty narrative is a ticking time bomb. It has nothing to do with the youths or conversations about their issues. It's about people getting to power. It is divisive and it is lethal. All right.
Can we respond to that?
Yes, go ahead.
If you have seen, that is Twitter. You know, majority agreeing with what we are saying, and they are claiming that Mudoni is from us. You know, that's what it means. Yeah. Mudoni should come to earth. I just want to request that. Secondly, it has been said, bro, you know, we live in this country, and we know what's happening every day and night. We read papers, we watch news, and you guys keep updating us. But the thing is, we can no longer ignore the reality. And the reality is that the hustler conversation has left the station. You know, we have been told the BBI has left the train station.
Yeah.
And it's true that, you know, people have different needs at different levels of life. Yeah. So I think for me, what matters is that the bottom line is we should have a constructive competition.
Yeah.
That one that harms no one. You know, you see, when I see the president speaking on TV, I like him because our president is the most democratic person the most democratic president we ever had. You know why? People say, you know, you have seen people addressing him through letters, and he's cool about it. You know, he goes about his business, he addresses them, and all that. That shows, you know, we are a very democratic country, and we need to sustain that and nurture our democracy and take it to a better. We are lucky that we are among the best democracies in the region. Not the, but I think the best, if not, you know, the top best. Okay. Now the thing is, this conversation that we're having, it has caught everyone's attention. I think whoever drafted the Hustler narrative has achieved, because the narrative is going places. Yeah. And I want to also tell Muthoni and the other people that anyone who wants to counter an argument should come with a counter argument, not tell the other person not to do what he or she is already doing. Okay, Billion.
No, I think what stood out for me is what I talked about. There's a tweet that there's a young person, I hope, that is saying, you know, for us it's the promises all along we've been promised and nothing is forthcoming. So as I mentioned, this is just a provocation. Many young people might not even be subscribing to wheelbarrows. They might not even be looking for those kokotenis, but they feel it's the right time for the government to realize that there's a gap that has been left, that young people, as they move as dynasties and higher level hustlers, there's a group of young people that have been left behind. And all along we've been, you know, they've been trading promises and hope, but we're not seeing that hope forthcoming. Yeah. So it's a high time that the government and the people that are in charge, the people that are in, you know, in those positions realize that, you know, how can we address some of these issues. So the Hustler Nation should not necessarily celebrate that they have everybody on their side. Yeah. It could be just a rebellion because of what has been happening, because of the promises that we've been getting and young people being desperate and having nowhere to go to, and then say, you know what, we want to show the government that we can, you know, subscribe to anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Hadija, and this is an interesting conversation. I want us to stay with it for a bit. The issue of broken promises. Is it time then that the youth, because they form a majority of the population, in fact, Abdullahi Bash here on Twitter says, out of 47.6 million Kenyans, 35.7 million are under the age of 35. Kenya youth must wake up. A decisive youth vote has affected changed election in Nigeria, Ghana, and the Gambia. 78% of voters are below 35 years. Reject bribery, that is short-term, and invest in policies for long-term. All these leaders we keep haggling about, they've been in power. Be it President Uhuru Kenyatta, be it Deputy President William Ruto, be it former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, all of them have been in power. Is it time that the youth now decided that this is the time to change this entire structure and stop doing the same thing expecting different results?
For me, I think youths now should come back to their senses. I know it's time for them to come out and fight for their rights. They don't need to be bribed for them to stand out. They can go fight for those positions just like those leaders who are there. Politicians will come and give you hundreds and thousands of promises, and they deliver none. Especially now that you are going into an election, you will find that they will come and they will give you promises. They have given you promises before, they haven't delivered, yet you will still go and elect the same people. I think it's high time for people now to sit down and question their politician. Like right now, you want us to vote you in. Probably we have voted you before. What have you done? Have you, the promises that you gave us, did you fulfill all of them? I think it's a high time for people, before you go to election or to vote someone, you need to question them for what they have done with their previous promises, so that you don't make the same mistake every now and then. They come, cheat you with 200, 500, they bribe you, and then you vote them in. You forget for another 5 years again, you will be going back to the same thing every now and then. So for me, the youth should come out and now say, it's high time for you to be voted in. Let's sit you down and ask you 1, 2, 3, what have you done to your constituency or to your, if you're a member of a county assembly, what have you done to your ward? So that we can elect you on merits depending on what you have done for the people.
Okay. Muthoni, why is this so difficult to achieve? Muthoni? Muthoni, I don't seem to have your sound there. we're asking you, why is this so difficult to achieve? Why can't we get fresh leaders, so to speak? Because we are living in a time when there's been broken promises. Everybody who's haggling is the same people who've been in the system all this time. Why can't the youth who had more than 35.7 million just decide and change the regime?
That's a good question, Trevor. And it's also important for us to take notice of what is happening and what happened in Uganda, right? Whereby, even though, despite Bobi Wine not winning, we saw a wave of change. We've seen youth being able to take courage and stand for what they believe in. But we would like to encourage the youth of this country. And I wouldn't say for sure that we are not seeing change, because I am very positive that in the next government, we will see a very big change, even in the number. You know, it goes from as small as having the numbers of members of parliament increasing significantly and having youth leaders. We cannot, of course, we cannot absolutely like go from 0 to 100 and say that we're going to have a president who's a youth. Since even some of those who have come out, not unless now I can maybe declare that I would be interested in presidency, but not now. However, the issue is that we need to see those small progress so that it can in future translate into a big thing. But the promise that I would like to assure most of the citizens and basically the youth of this country is that indeed, even at the end of this electioneering period, come 22, we will really see a lot of youths being sworn into these positions, into members of parliament, into Senate. Even for this, the past electioneering period that we had in 2017, there was a significant increase in the number of members of Senate and members of the National Assembly who came from the youth compared to other years we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
So indeed, there is hope, because we are told leaders are the dealers of hope, as Winston Churchill once said. Leaders should be the dealers of hope. We should be an encouragement to the youth. So call them out and be dealers of hope in saying that indeed we can be given these positions if we come out, even without having money, even without having anything. But if we as the youth go for ideology and meritocracy, we can be able to see a difference in our country.
Okay.
So yes, there will be a difference and there will be a change.
Yeah.
Like I would like to give you an example with what happened in Nyeri County. We only had, I believe it was one member of parliament who was able to recover his seat. All the rest of them were changed.
Yeah.
So what does this mean? This means people want a new and fresh dawn. People want to see a change.
Okay.
And where someone has served in their full capacity and they have done a good job, and the people feel that they should be given an opportunity, then they can serve. But people are really changing the narrative, and people are really giving new people opportunities, like myself and other people who are part of the panel, that we are going to be given an opportunity to serve this great country. Thank you very much.
Kadar, you know, being a youth in itself is not a qualification.
It's not, and it cannot be a qualification. It's not a qualification.
Even then, the current leaders that we're all haggling about have been in the system.
Yes.
So what is so different this time?
You see, I agree with
They've been part of the broken promises.
with you and Mudoni on one thing, that there should be there's need for fresh leadership. But you see, a fresh leadership can only be born in an environment that supports such kind of thinking. The Kenyan political culture and the Kenyan political environment does not fit new ideas to germinate so fast and take over. You know, like it happened in France when Macron became the president. Macron was from nowhere. He was just, I think, in his late 30s or early 40s, and he was in the political struggle of coming up.
Yeah.
But he just came up so fast. Why? Because the system, the nature of the environment, of the political environment, and everything allowed for that kind of political dream to be realized. Now coming back to our, to us, you see, we are used to the political culture of handouts. Number one. Number two, that may need a lot of money for someone to penetrate, for leadership to penetrate through the system. Number two, you see, and she talked about also of Bobi Wine.
Yeah.
Bobi Wine has come out to say, come out and told Ugandans, you know what, guys, I want to do ABCD for you. And they listen to him. You see, someone must come out.
Yeah.
The Kenyan professionals, And people who think they should be offering an alternative don't necessarily come out to do these kind of things. They don't, you know, we cannot push you from your bedroom or from your house to tell you, oh, Bija, come and be the president of Kenya. You must present yourself to us, sell your manifesto, and then we listen to you whether we should take it or not. So I think majority of Kenyans who are looked up to by Kenyans, be it whether they're in the public service or professionals, I think they are really doing a disservice to this nation because they are not coming out, you know, to say, you know, this is how things should be done. And let me tell you something. Talking of broken promises, Abdullahi Bash, the guy who tweeted that, is someone who writes a lot about issues of youth. He's a very constructive guy, you know, who knows what he's doing. He writes a lot in the papers and social media talking about and agitating for the rights of minorities. Now, talking of broken promises, I come from a region that has no tarmac road for the last 50+ years, you know, all the way from Mandera coming this side. We are not connected to the national grid as a region. It ends in Garissa, from Nairobi to Garissa, and that is it. And of course, so when you talk about broken promises, we have been taken for a ride for quite a long as a region. And I'm sure many other parts of the country also suffer the same. Now, the only way to break that cycle is to hold your leadership accountable. Whether they're the same ones who were there and who want still to be there, or whether it's a new one coming in. I will not disqualify someone on the basis that he was there all along. You know, sometimes, you know, the deputy president the other day said that, and I agree, you know, sometimes Jubilee has done something, it has failed on something. But you see, when it came to the second term, they said they wanted to achieve A, B, C, D. And the deputy president said they didn't achieve because someone came into the government and distorted their plans. I don't know, you could be right, you could be wrong. I'm not here to speak for him. But that is the kind of narrative we have been told. Yes.
Billion, is this simply an issue of resources? Because we saw John Paul Mwirigi, Member of Parliament for Igembe South, campaign on very minimal budgets. In fact, it was a big story that he was campaigning without a car. He was in a bicycle and his usual sweater. Is this the reason why, is it an issue of resources? Is that the reason why we can't change the regime as a young people?
I think intentionally the politics of this country was made expensive, has been so expensive, and it's been made even by young people, you know, because they want the handout. So it is hard for many young people to run for those positions. I have been there before. I campaigned as the way he campaigned. Nobody was looking at my direction, so it is very hard. It is very hard to penetrate when you don't have the resources. But I think for me, what stands out and what should be driven now is, if we look at the leaders who are now the Orengos, the Nyongos, the Muites, you know, at their prime when they were at their 20s, that is when, you know, they were pushing for change. And we are not seeing more young people coming out. We are seeing more young people working behind the scenes, behind other people. And I feel the hustler versus dynasty narrative would have been driven by a young people, by a young person, as it happened in Uganda. So I believe in the next parliament, we'll have more young people, and hopefully in the next 5-10 years we'll be having as the county assemblies as houses of young people, which is so encouraging. But we need to come out. However much we don't have the resources, I encourage people. We might have luck as our friend, our brother from Igembe, but you saw what happened to him recently. You know, his constituents are now fighting him. So being young or being youth should not be a qualification. Let's look at what values, what content are they bringing out, what are they planning to address. Otherwise, we will be misrepresenting young people. But I see hope. I see more young people being in parliament in other positions. But let's elect the right people that will inspire the coming generation also to want to engage in politics. But if we see the caliber of young leaders we see in parliament now, it doesn't inspire hope even for us young people.
Hadija, I'll give you the final say on this because we run out of time.
I think one of the biggest challenge we have as a country is that most of the people, they do not elect their leaders based on ideology. They elect their leaders based on how much money can it be.
Hold your thought in just a bit. I think we have a bit of a challenge with your microphone. Mudoni, I'll just give you a chance for closing remarks, 1 minute each, starting with you.
very much, Trevor. And my parting shot and closing remark would be mostly because you had mentioned that we're going to talk about the letter and the 41 members from both Senate and Parliament. I think about that letter, it's just basically, you know, people wanting to be relevant. And I feel that when people want to be relevant, they can do anything. We know that in government and in any strengthened institution, there are always proper channels of communication. So if these people know how to, like for instance, Bwana Kangata, they would have taken the letter directly to the president, wouldn't have had members of the public. There are proper channels for people to do communication. And also to the youth of Ruiru and generally to the youth of every youth in the country. I would like to just pass an encouragement that indeed a new dawn is coming for the youth of this country. And we should come out to fight for what we believe. We should not be neutral. We should not allow ourselves to be used by political parties, but we should be strengthened and be encouraged enough to take active responsibility to fight for what we believe in, to go for all the things that we want. And also for my brother who had said, I don't have a kabambe, I have one. And the reason why we are talking about ICT is to enable someone like myself that they can go there even without a smartphone. You can go into that institution and do some few constructive things that would be useful to the people. Therefore, I would also come out to advocate for peaceful rallies, peaceful seminars, peaceful and meaningful dialogue, whereby the people of this country can sit together as a youth and talk about issues that affect us as youth and forge forward and soldier on each and every time that we will be able to soldier on for the good cause of the country. Thank you very much, Trevor.
Kadar, 1 minute.
My parting shot will be basically, let's escalate the tensions, especially this chanting and booing others on political rallies. It's not something that's good for everyone. It's not good for the nation. It's not good for business. It's politically unhygiene. Rather, secondly, if we must talk about inclusivity and BBI, it should include all. You cannot speak in the name of inclusivity and try to be seen silencing others while you are it's like preaching water. I mean, they call it preaching water and taking wine. That's what's happening. Thirdly, I think BBI will address, there has been issues with BBI, and we hope that what is remaining will be addressed. There's also the issue of multiple questions and all that, which even the Attorney General, according to the papers, has agreed with it, and which the Deputy President fronted before. So my parting shot will be basically peace. Let's maintain calm. The youth should not allowed to be misused.
Billion.
For me, it's to the young people that we are addressing. Nothing for us without us. So let's fight for those positions. Let's come out. Let's mobilize. Let's make use of our constituents who are young people. Let's get to their level, understand what they want, what they aspire, and out of it we'll have more young people in parliament and in positions of power where we can be influential and influence policies in this country.
All right.
Thank you.
Khadija, I'll give you 2 minutes because your microphone had an issue.
It's okay. Thank you. So for one, I was saying the issue that we have in this country is that most people elect people based on not on their ideology, but on how much money you can dish out. I think that is the first problem that we have. We need to counter that. If you're able to counter that, then we'll be able to make some of the best decisions in terms of electing our leaders. You've just given one example. If I was to ask you a question, how many of such leaders have been elected? You will only give me 1 or 2 people. The rest, they had to dish out money to get those positions. In terms of BBI, I'll be very happy to see in the BBI, other than the help loan they are talking about, the tax holiday they are giving to the youth. First, they need to create the employment for the youth to pay tax. I don't think we have a problem to pay for the tax if we have the job, and a good and well-paying job. For me, BBI will outstand if we are given a chance as youth to be told, like in a certain constituency where we'll be having elective positions. If, like in a, let's say, for instance, in Nairobi, we need like maybe 10 members of parliament. For me, if they use that and say at least 4 to 5 positions should go to the youth, then I'll feel encouraged. Whether I have the resources or not, I will feel at least I meet the criteria of being a youth and I still have a chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Let's bring up some of your feedback as we close on this discussion really quick because we've run out of time. Feedback coming through right now so that we make sure that we can see what you're talking about online at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya, #Daybreak. Governor the Dreamer says youth involvement in politics leads to better civic engagement overall. It improves the influence and access of young people and supports governments becoming more inclusive and responsive to the plurality of voices they are representing. Nashan Kimemia says, I met a slum youth. He'd started a roadside business selling sweets on a carton. Life wasn't perfect, but he was trying. Busy ilikuwa imeshika. County askaris destroyed it and told him to never step there again. An orphan. He was in tears. We need to discuss the hassles by the youth. All right. Somali Pandit says, at this rate, the spectrum of ethnic tension will expand by election time. There will not only be inter-ethnic conflict based on tribe, but also intra-ethnic conflict based on class. That is very dangerous trajectory in the offing. Jacob Abere Matlala says, youth and political conversations need not to stop. It's time they stand up and be counted. Let them not be used to create insecurity and destruction. The culture of being used by politicians is primitive and outdated. Special thanks to Billy Ojiwa, community activist, Nice Mudoni Mburu, lawyer and aspiring politician, Ahmed Kadar, blogger, and Khadija Abukula, UDA Youth League leader. Thank you so much for making time, and thank you for all the feedback. This is where we give everyone an opportunity, the youth, every single person, politicians, talk about the state of the nation because our voice counts in every part of this conversation, all right? Bye for now. My name is Trevor Mbija. Coming up next, it's DJ GG. It's time to play the drums. I will not be dancing. You know this. I have 2 left feet. See you in a bit.